While we try to save a few bucks by taking carry-on instead of checked luggage, one frequent flyer has a whole different strategy. Ben Schlappig says he flies around 640,000 kilometers a year at just a fraction of the normal cost. By getting the most out of airline miles and being smart when booking, Schlappig says you can make huge savings and travel in style. Ben is the author of the blog 1 Mile at a Time, and he joins us now live from San Diego. It's great to see you. Now, you have made it your mission to outwit the airlines. How is it that you're able to fly for so little?
Thanks for having me, Maggie. I think what it all comes down to is using miles and points as efficiently as possible. I think in our everyday lives, so many of us collect miles and points, but the reality is the airlines have made the system so complicated that most people don't know how to redeem them. So kind of my specialty is knowing how to redeem miles for the best way possible, ideally for first class internationally.
Now, you obviously devote a lot of time to this, and you've worked out a system. For those of us who maybe don't have so much time on our hands, what's your best advice? What should we focus on?
So I think there's advice both when it comes to earning miles and when it comes to redeeming miles. So speaking of redeeming miles, for example, most people have a hard time finding those award seats, so being able to redeem their miles. So if you're going to go to redeem your miles, I recommend doing so either when the schedule first opens, so basically about 11 months out, or otherwise really the best time to redeem your miles is right before departure. So often airlines will make award seats available literally day of departure, a week before departure. So really the best time to book is last minute when you're redeeming your miles, which a lot of people don't realize.
That's right. They don't realize. They think they're going to have to pay top dollar doing that. What's a common mistake most of us make?
I think a common mistake most of us make is that we undervalue our miles. So for example, when you go to redeem your miles, never view them as a free currency. You know, your miles have value, and you can get so much value out of them if you maximize them. So you don't want to fall into the mistake, for example, of redeeming 100,000 miles for a ticket which would cost you, a couple $100s. So you always want to kind of figure out how much value you're getting per mile and to set some threshold and to redeem based on that.
Yeah, save the miles for the really good flights, the expensive ones. And speaking of, we're looking at some fantastic footage and pictures from your blog. You certainly can travel in style. Talk to me, because you fly so much, what airline do you think is getting it right in terms of customer service?
Well, I'd say it really depends on which class of service you're flying in. So in first class, for example, Emirates is fantastic. On their Airbus A380, which is the big double-decker plane, they have an onboard shower for first class passengers, and they have a bar. I've experienced a lot of great products, but there is nothing like showering at 550 miles an hour, 7 miles above the Earth's surface. That's something that's always surreal to me. Lufthansa will drive their first-class passengers to the plane in a Porsche in Frankfurt. So you are driven underneath the planes to your plane in a Porsche, which is sort of surreal.
It certainly is, and I think something a lot of us aspire to. We're probably not going to be there just yet. How much time does it take you, or do you have to devote to actually doing this? Do you have to spend hours poring over airline schedules, or is this something that the average person, is there hope for us, Ben? I think is what I'm asking you.
There absolutely is hope. I think in my case, it's a full-time obsession. So I do it probably 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, not because I have to, but because that's just what I love. That being said, for the average person, there's so much value you can get out of miles. A first-class ticket on a great airline is not at all out of the question. So for example, if you're just maximizing the credit cards you use to earn as many points as you can, and if you do a bit of research online, it shouldn't be too tough to snag a first-class ticket to just about anywhere in the world for what you'd otherwise pay for, a much less valuable ticket.